women have figured out, you're absolutely right, we are stronger together. Because if we don't take care of one another, nobody else is.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your host, Angie Scott and Barb Carey.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. I'm Angie Scott. I'm here in person with my co-host, Barb Carey.
Yeehaw! Together again. We're going to make a habit out of this.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, with her in Nashville and me up in Wisconsin or wherever I'm touring around, this is a rare occasion, so it doesn't happen very often.
Yep, and we're here with a really cool guest that we just met. And we wanted to have her on the show because we think she's going to be pretty inspirational to a lot of people out there. But we've got Torica Whitty.
Yes, Torica Whitty.
Right. Oh, I'm off to a great start so far.
Torica, welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventure podcast.
Thank you
We're
so much.
Happy you agreed to be on the show.
Thank you.
So I saw you on Facebook or something a few years ago, and I think we were in some mutual women anglers who fish tournaments or something. And so give us your story. What's your story about your life as an angler?
I love my life as an angler. Actually, this is my second career. I did 22, almost 23 years in the Army. I'm retired. I'm married, and my husband and I reside in Louisiana. And I retired from Fort Polk. And so my husband, back in 2006, 2007, he got me into fishing out of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. We went into this little bait store, and the guy automatically, ladies, went and started talking to him. And so my husband was like, oh, no, you need to go talk to her because I don't know what you're talking about. You talking a foreign language. And so they came over and talked to me, and I joined a club up there, and I started fishing, and I was been hooked ever since. And I got one of my best birthdays ever was in Missouri at the Bass Pro. I got to meet the late and great Penny Berryman.
Oh.
And I was done. I mean, she was so inspirational to me, and I don't know, you guys. It was just, I think I loved her as soon as I met her. I spent the whole weekend at Bass Pro talking to her and getting to know her, and it was just so amazing. And so ever since then, I've been just fishing. We went on deployment and came back, and here we are fishing.
So do you actually fish tournaments?
Mm-hmm.
And what circuits are you fishing?
I used to fish on the Ladies Pro Tour, LBAA, but now I don't. I fish locally. I fish with another group of ladies that just started their tour, Tri-State, out of Louisiana, Texas. They're in Mississippi. They have a club down there. I fish with them. And I also fish against the men. I fish the Dodge Ram Series, and I fish BFLs. And I'm the only lady boater in both of my divisions on the BFL and the Ram Series.
So is that kind of one of those things where you have the boat and then co-anglers draw and they see that you get a co-angler in your boat? I want to know what that's like when they draw. Are they acting all, oh, dang, are they all excited, or how does that work?
In the beginning, it was because when I first started down in Southeast Texas, Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, it used to be everybody was so terrified to have to get in the boat with me. But I remember this guy, his name is Stephen Johnston, and his dad was fishing during that time. And if you're in that area, everybody knows Stephen Johnston and his dad. So I drew his dad. And we fished all day. We had a good time on the lake. When we came back off of Rayburn, he got on stage and told everybody, hey, she drives better than some of you guys out there. She said, and after then, everybody, I never had any more issues with being on the water with guys. I will fish when they fish, and I'll stay on the water until, it doesn't matter to me, rain, snow, ice. I'll be on the water. When those guys are out fishing, I'm one of the few ladies, probably the only one in my division that's out there fishing. I don't have any drama on my boat because I've been there so long now. I have a reputation. My reputation is I always am nice to people. And so I feel like if you're a positive person, positivity comes back to you. Sometimes if you don't want to speak, that's okay. It's your loss because you're not going to take the smile off my face. So I don't have that kind of issues.
Yeah, awesome.
Now, when you first started doing that, did you start off as a boater? Okay, so you started off as a co-angler?
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
Okay.
When I first started, I started off in the back of the boat in Missouri. There's some more friends, Ricky and Travis Clemens. They were, again, at the Bass Pro Shops. And I started fishing with them, and I started fishing off the back of the boat. And I'm telling you, ladies, let me tell you what happened. This was so cold one day. The rod lockers, we were fishing, I believe it's Truman Lake. The rod lockers froze. The next day, we couldn't get in the rod lockers. It was so cold. We had to vote to see if we were going to go out on the water. And of course, me being me, I raised my hand. They said, hey, show of hand, who wants to fish? So I'm the only female in this club, this bass club, and they're like, kind of like, we really don't want to fish. But since the girl raised her hand, let's all, we got to. So I raised my hand. I was like, yeah. And so we went out fishing. I'm telling you, I drew Travis Mert. Travis had a Ranger. And Travis and I were really good friends. And Travis always had deer jerky in his boat. And this particular day, it was so cold. We had to fish for 20 minutes, put the rods down and get in front of a little propane heater and warm up. And then get back up and fish and stick the rod in the water so the rod guys were freezing up. It was so cold. I'm telling you, I thought my teeth were going to come out of my head. It was so cold. And one of the guys in the middle of the day, we heard later that he went back because he had like frostbite or something. He had to go back to the boat. Go back to the ramp. It was miserable. And I caught my first bass. It was like, I think it was 6 pounds. But I won big bass at the tournament.
Awesome.
And I'm telling you, I've been hooked. And that's how I started on the back of the boat. I've been really blessed. I've met some really great people along the way, and God has really been good to me. He's really smiled on me. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm thankful for where I am right now.
So that was a perfect segue. Where do you want to be?
Honestly, I want to be known in this sport as a person that bridged the gap between all women of all ages and all colors. That's what I want my legacy to be that person that bridges the gap.
Well, that's a good goal. We're all kind of on the same page there. I think that there are, in this industry, when you're working with a big group of women, and I work with several large groups of women, and I think I see the tides changing. I think several years ago, there was only room for one or two, and so they were kicking and scratching and clawing their way to the top and kind of over the backs of their sisters. But I see that trend is changing, and I think that the mottos like we talk about, we're better together, and if she can do it, I can do it. I think that is really kind of growing quite quickly. And I see, women really realizing that we are stronger together. And hopefully, people like you and a lot of the other gals that we work with, are those people that are saying, hey, we're in this together. Absolutely. And there's a spot for more than one person. So it's not a competition. Even when you're tournament fishing, I think that, we have people that are, helping each other out with their boats, and they have problems and stuff. And I think there can't be enough of that stuff.
Absolutely. In today's, I see a lot like where I am on Toledo and Rayburn. And I don't have anything against the young anglers coming up, but it seems like a lot of them have missed the class on boat etiquette. There's, when you see them on the water now, it's me, me, me. And they don't care who they have to step over, like you said, to get there. And women have figured out, like you said, the tides are turning or changing, but women have figured out, you're absolutely right, we are stronger together. Because if we don't take care of one another, nobody else is. like we were talking earlier, we're at ICAST, and I get to view the new product showcase every year. And I'm telling you, there is not a lot of things for women when you walk into the new product showcase. These companies, we've got to band together to get these companies to start building things and making things, especially apparel for us, not stuff that's flimsy and that's walk around stuff. We need stuff that's durable and that's gonna take care of us as like the apparel takes care of our counterparts. Because I can go out there right now, in every rain suit out there, none of them are built for us. And there's got to be stronger together. Absolutely. We have to band together as women and start to say, hey, companies, you guys have got to start looking at us and our needs, because our money spends just as good as our counterparts.
And we're spending a lot of money. Women are spending a ton of money in
yes.
this sport, and it's getting more and more all the time. And the few times I see brands come out for women that are just exclusively for women, one of the things I find is they realize they have such a market because there's no competition. They're so expensive.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it's pricing half the population out of purchasing them, whether they would work or not. Some people just can't afford to pay that much money. So they're going to be fishing in the guys' stuff because that's what they can afford. But, if they got the designs right and the price right, they would sell them like hotcakes.
Yes. And I'm I'm one of these women. I don't think every woman likes pink, because I'm that woman. I don't like pink. But everything that comes out specifically for women, it's always pink. I don't understand why we can't have more colors than pink. I mean, I'm not knocking that. I mean, to each his own. But I like lime greens and blues. And the reason why I like those colors, because those are natural colors. Green is for the earth. Blue is for the water. I'm a fisherman. That's how I think. So there's so limited stuff for us that we can barely get into before we get into the market, we're already out of the market, and I think that's a sad state for the fishing industry as a whole to be that way, because they've got blinders on. They don't see anybody. They don't see any women in this sport other than the ones that stand on the bank. And I'm not one of those women that stand on the bank watching my husband go. I'm the person that's on the water all time of day, from dusk, from morning to night. And I think there should be apparel and things out there for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited because you're in the southern region of the United States, which is where I'm located. I'm from Minnesota, so I grew up where Barb is up in Wisconsin, and I kind of grew up with that climate, and it's totally different down south, I've found. And so I'm excited to talk to another female angler in my region, because and somebody who's in bass clubs, because I'm the only female currently in my bass club in Nashville. And I'm a co-angler. I'm on the back of the boat right now, but I'm fixing to pretty soon be a boater.
Good for you.
So, that's going to be interesting. The guys in my club are amazing, though. They're all super supportive of me and what I do in the podcast and all of that. So that's been really cool to see. But I haven't yet gotten plugged in with other women in my area. There's just not any groups that I've been able to find. Quick side note, since the recording of this episode, which wasn't that long ago, I've started a Women Anglers of Tennessee Facebook group. So if you're listening in that area or know anyone who might be interested in being a part at a grassroots level, please join or share. We need more of these groups in the South so we can connect, support each other, and learn from each other. We're better together, so let's make it happen. Go to facebook.com/groups/women anglers of TN. And I'll also put a link to that in the show notes for this episode, which you'll be able to find at thewomanangler.com/72. Thanks.
It's really far and few between. The only national group is the LBA. But if you're not, you have to be ready to go out on tour and travel and leave your family. That's something you have to be ready for, because even though the tournaments are spread out, I found that when I was on tour, life was completely different. Um, you know, I practiced by myself. I stayed by myself. I did everything by myself except for when tournament time came and I would have a co-angler. I preferred it that way because I had spent so much of my life in the Army sharing everything that I just said, once I start fishing, I'm not going to share my time or my space with anybody until it's time for a tournament. I like the peace and quiet of being on the water by myself and running around and this and that. So it becomes a different life for you. And yes, there are going to be some bumps along the road. It's not been a bed of roses for me. I've been in some places where, like, I'll give you an example. You can have sponsors today. My situation. I've had sponsors that I've signed contracts with, and in the middle of the year, they'll disappear. Now, whose fault was that? If I go into a situation and I'm professional, you expect the other person to be professional. So you have to be prepared for letdowns because they're going to come in all shapes and forms. They're going to come. But you know what you do? You stay positive. You continue to take one step at a time. And if this is something that you want and you truly believe in it, no matter how hard it gets, you still keep plugging along. When people knock you down or companies knock you down or say no to you, I always go in with the assumption that every company is going to say no. It's when they say yes, you're like, oh, wait, you said yes. Wait a minute. And I'm the hardest on myself. I feel like you have to work hard for the companies in order to have longevity with them. And here's another example. Spike It and Power Pole, I've been with them for 9 to 10 years. Those were the guys that gave me a chance. So I'm one of these people, I'm loyal to those particular brands because they've been loyal to me. And in this sport, loyalty is hard to find because just because today you got such and such on your jersey, you can walk out here. You'll have a company on your jersey and then you'll go look at another booth and that same company will be at a rival booth. That's not loyalty, So I find that women, we have to be specific about the things that you want and the goals that you set. So by you moving in to be a boater, know exactly the things that we all want a whole bunch of things, but get the things that you need first. Get your rod sponsors, get your line sponsors, get your battery sponsors, get your engine sponsors, get all those things that you need, because in the long run, those are the things that's going to keep you on the water. Those are the companies that's going to keep you on the water. And sometimes, having a jersey full of sponsors don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It just means you got more work to do.
Yeah, people don't realize that part. Everyone's all, oh, I want to. And I think what's happened in the industry, and you're probably seeing this too. I've been in the business for a long time myself, and now, whoever has the most followers on Instagram is suddenly the new pro. Whether they know anything about fishing or not. Yes. And so this is how the pros are kind of getting watered down. Mm-hmm. It's like, and they'll do it for nothing. So the companies are getting the same exposure and not having to really pay anything for it. They do it for a hat and some stickers and a patch on their shirt. So I think that's really kind of changed the industry I've seen in the last 5 years.
And it's gotten, you're absolutely correct. I mean, now the industry's sponsoring high school fishing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but let's think about this. I'm a company. I can sponsor a high school tournament team and get what? They get 10% off or 20% off, and what do they get? Free publicity. That entire school. So yes, the industry is becoming watered down, but you just gotta know which companies. Like when we come down here, when we come to ICAST, you will very rarely see me introduce big name companies. Those guys are gonna get all the advertisement. But it's the mom and pop stores that I try to interview and try to get acquainted with, because those are the people that need the most help. They don't have media. They don't have, a lot of them don't even do social media. So I try to introduce those companies to the people back at home. And I try to find companies that, let's say, that people can afford. Not everybody can afford a $40 lure or a $30 lure. Not everybody can afford that. So you have to think about your audience. And me, I try to think about the average person. You know, if they're going to buy something, okay, a bag of baits, $12, $15. If I spend $30 on a bag of baits, am I going to the lake? That person's not going to the lake because they don't have gas. Right. You know, so I try to think in those terms. You know, we want to grow the sport. So the average lady, she's got a family, she's got the kids, she's got a job, she's got to go home and cook. So when does she have time? So it's up to people like us to say, hey, girlfriend, I found this bag of baits over here from this company. It may not be a well-known company, but the baits are just the same. And it's for $10 or $20 less than what this company that somebody, you know, this name brand company. And that's how I think to the people that follow me and ask me questions. That's the kind of advice I would give them.
Yeah, got to be practical about
Yes.
it. It's easy to go broke in this sport, I know that. What kind of boat you run?
I'm running a 2019 Falcon F215 with a Mercury 250. That's what I run. Yeah.
That'll get you there.
Yes. And I'm running lithium batteries, Li3 batteries for a company right here in Florida that I've been with for 6 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what are some of the favorite bass? Let's talk techniques here. Let's give some of these gals some fishing tips from the pro. What is a couple of the top techniques you would suggest to new anglers that are really going to put more fish in the boat for them?
Let's see. I started out on a Carolina rig. You can just drag that behind the boat. I love a Carolina rig. I like a Cinco. I like to flip and pitch. That's probably my favorite thing to do, other than a Carolina rig. And I will throw a crankbait. But most of the time, when things get really tough, I'll go to a Carolina rig. I think a Carolina rig is probably one of the things you can do. There's no fuss, no muss. And you don't even have to be a genius on a Carolina rig. You just got to hold on. Pretty much. And I pretty much fish a lot of soft plastics. I love fishing soft plastics. I will fish a frog this time of year, but I think when I first started, I mostly did a Carolina rig and a Texas rig, you know, because of where I am. But I know in Tennessee, you guys do shaky heads a lot.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people use shaky heads a lot. I haven't. I've done it a couple times. My go-to has always been the Senko. I have the patience for it when it comes to fishing. Don't always have patience, but I can be patient when fishing, and I just seem to have a lot of success with that. So that's kind of my go-to. Now we've been fishing the Ned rig quite a bit, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. So that's kind of...
I'm a fan of Ned also.
Yeah. I like it, but I guess for me, where I am, I would much rather be flipping in that thick grass and cracking that. Yeah. I'm telling you, I just love the sound of that. I mean, I like that. I like when you set the hook and it feels like you've got like Godzilla on the other end.
So you're such a good resource for people. Now, how can people follow you or get a hold of you if they want to contact you or ask you questions, or how can they follow along with what you got going on?
You can go to my Facebook, Torica Whitty Fishing. You can go to my website and send me messages, toricawhitty.com. Where else? I'm on Instagram, Torica Whitty Fishing. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, but most of the time Instagram and my website. And then, of course, if you look my name up, you'll see my phone number all over the internet because my phone number is everywhere.
Well, we'll definitely put links to that in the show notes. And, I just want to commend you. You're an inspiration, a role model to a lot of people. And I look forward to seeing what the future brings for you.
Absolutely. And I look forward to, us getting some time on the water.
Yeah,
That's what we need. We need some time on the water.
That'd be cool.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, we need to do some time on the water. We can go out, do videos, and you guys can. Because I'm always available to travel. I got a Tundra, so I like to travel.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. You ever now? If you want to ice fish, I'm the one you call.
No, I'm not ice fishing. We're not ice fishing. You need to come south.
Says the gal from Louisiana. No ice fishing. The only ice you want is in your cocktail, right?
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and we will be back next week with a whole new show.
Thank you.